answered.
Live from New York.
Not bad.
Thanks.
It was a lot more force than Nick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick's is like,
I've been lifting.
A lot of power. Live from New York, it's a show that has Eric Mangini in for Nick today. It's first things first today. Who can challenge Mahomes for MVP? Coach has a surprising candidate. Honestly, I wrote that without even talking to you. But I just assume you're going to have an interesting take there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all he does is win in the regular season. So is Mike McCarthy on the hot seat? And who could possibly replace him? And finally, reports from Jets practice. How many disagreements are too many disagreements? And does Broussard still think a little bit of drama is good for the Jets? Alongside Coach Mangini, I'm Kevin Wildes. Brew, are you still all in on your Jets no matter how many weird reports we get out of training camp?
they're not weird.
Yeah, you're probably
They're
right.
wonderful.
Oh, look at that. A little synergy there.
They are
Okay, we'll
words.
take it. We're starting, however, with Lamar and the Ravens. Fresh off his second MVP, Lamar reiterated his draft day goal of bringing a Super Bowl to Baltimore. Take a listen.
That's been the first checkbox for me since 2018. You know, I said that April 26th, whenever we were drafted, whenever I was drafted, I said that, you know, and I meant that. But, you know, this the highest level of this game, you know, we play. So you got to go out a champion. That's what I want to be labeled as, a champion, you know, not just MVP here and there. Like, I want to be a champion.
Okay, Brew, is this your S-Bob for Lamar?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's S-Bob. Now, let me clarify, because, Coach, Nick and Wiles like to take it literally. Oh, what's going to happen if they don't win the Super Bowl? Lamar's not getting cut if they don't win the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh's not getting fired. They're not going rebuild, okay? But they are one of those, and I'm saying I'm going to give you how many teams are S-Bob, all right? But they are one of them that if they don't win the Super Bowl, it is not a successful season. Like, they can get there, they can play close, they can get to overtime. If they don't win the Super Bowl, it is not a successful season. It's Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, because they've been to the Super Bowl, San Francisco, and I'm going to throw Philadelphia in. They were there 2 years ago. I'm going to throw them in. They could be a little iffy. Then the Rams, some might throw the Rams in just because they've been.
Rams are S-Bob?
No, I'm just saying some might throw the Rams in.
What number are we on?
I'm not with the Rams, but they won it a couple years ago with Matt Stafford, same quarterback. So I'm just saying they might.
They're
And
not
then, of
S-Bob.
course, okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Dallas, because of who they are.
Yep.
They're the Lakers. They're the Yankees, right? They're America's team in their sport. So it's S-Bob. Every year they have a good team. If they're a bad team and we know it and they're going to win 6 games, but if they're a good team, should make the playoffs, it's S-Bob. So back to Lamar.
No Philly?
No, well, I threw Philly. Yeah, I have Philly.
Okay.
I have
Are the
Philly.
Lions S-Bob? Sorry to get us off.
I don't think the
that's-
Lions are S-Bob.
that's
I
a
think
good
the
one.
Lions, if the Lions get to the Super Bowl
That's fair.
and they lose, don't you think that's still?
That's right. They'd be happy.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
mean, you want to win it, but they.
I lost you on like team 7 or 8.
No.
After we got you 30%
I mean,
of the lead.
I will take the Rams out. I'm just saying, they just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and they played well this past season. So I don't think McVay's happy if they don't win the Super Bowl.
Not happy.
And you got Stafford there.
Okay.
Okay,
Keep
but
going.
I can roll with that. But Lamar, Coach, he's one of, I think there's maybe 12 guys or so that have won multiple MVPs. And here's the list. And they all have won at least one Super Bowl, save Lamar. All right, so because of his historical greatness with the 2 MVPs, he does have to win the Super Bowl. And every year for Lamar is S-Bob until he gets a Super Bowl. All right, and then when you look at the success he's had in the regular season, he is the 3rd highest winning quarterback ever in the regular season with, minimum 25 starts. Jimmy G was close.
Yeah.
He used to be on that. He moved down. But all of those guys, Coach, have won at least 2 Super Bowls. So, when you play at such a high level, you are expected to win. And then you throw in the Derrick Henry move. And the fact that they actually played Kansas City pretty close last year, even though they didn't play a good game. I definitely think, Coach, S-Bob, without question for the
Good
Ravens.
take.
I don't know what S-Bob means because it's Super Bowl or bust, but then when you make 30% of the league Super Bowl or bust,
Well,
it kind of loses a little bit.
I took the Rams. I got 6 teams.
6. Okay, so
Because Dallas is always there.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying. But when you look at what Lamar's done, so what was he, 58-19 in the regular season, which is incredible.
Yep.
2-time MVP, youngest ever to be a 2-time MVP. Okay, he was the youngest ever to win the Heisman Trophy, and that's what we're forgetting. He's 27 years old. Okay, he's extremely young, and I'm glad you showed the list that you showed of guys who have won the title, because now let me show you the list of guys who won the title and when they won the title. Okay, so Peyton Manning was on your list. He didn't win till he was 30. Steve Young, he was on your list. He didn't win till he was 33. John Elway didn't win till he was 37. The same thing, Drew Brees at 31. So because he's played as long as he has and he's been as successful as he has, we make this assumption that he's got to win right now. But these other quarterbacks that we all consider to be great players, they didn't win till later on. And Baltimore's got challenges. They lost 3 offensive linemen. Their whole defensive staff has changed over. There's been a lot of transition on that team. So to just think it's going to be plug and play because they got Derrick Henry, that's hard.
Can we ask you a question about the defense? Because Brew and I are kind of aligned in this theory that although they have a lot of defensive turnover, somehow a strong Baltimore defense is just kind of woven within the franchise, and guys change, but it seems like they're just tough on defense every year. Are we kind of oversimplifying it? Are you actually worried about Baltimore's defense?
You're always worried about it when you transition because you don't know what the new coordinator is going to bring. Is he going to be consistent with the philosophy that they've had over time? Is he going to bring his system in and force all the players to learn that system? Or is he going to go in and say, okay, this is what's been in place, this is what's been successful, I'm going to incorporate 70% of that, 60, some significant amount of volume so that the guys aren't relearning everything. And that transition, it's different with each guy. And not only did they lose the coordinator, but they lost coaches at every level of the defense. So there's a lot of experience that left the room.
All right, let's look at the Ravens' schedule. First game, of course, is at Arrowhead. We are 37 days away from that game. I called this a must-win. It's pretty obvious to me. I'm 100% serious that if you lose, if you have your worst game of the year against Patrick Mahomes in your building, and that ends your season, all you think about, like, we're going to get better in the offseason. They do get a little bit better at Derrick Henry, but like you said, the defense had a lot of turnover. And you ran a very odd game where at one point you threw the ball, or you at least called 21 straight passing plays. If you go into Arrowhead and lose that game, I think that sets the whole season up in a weird direction. So I'm considering that a must-win.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it quite at the must-win status.
If they lose, Coach,
point.
if they lose that game, you think they can? You think that if they lose that game, so Lamar Jackson, who is whatever he's at 58-19 in his career, has just lost back-to-back games. You thinking like, you know what? I'll get him the next time around?
See, I would flip that and say it's a must-win for Kansas City.
Wow.